Cricket is my passion and I cannot avoid it. Hello and welcome to all the beautiful people around the world. The World Cup has kick-started, and what a start to the World Cup. Sri Lanka has been stunned by Namibia. But we have one guest who is not from Sri Lanka, who is from Australia. He's the original Mr. Cricket on whose name my cricket page has been named. He's done wonders for Australia, scored 19 test centuries, has an average of 15 tests, has a fantastic average of almost 15 ODI, and mind you, a strike rate of 136. And who can forget that innings against Pakistan in the 2000 T20 World Cup? The one and only Mr. Michael Hussey, Mr. Cricket. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Mr. Cricket UAE. And yeah, I hope you're doing well.
You have no idea, Huss, that, I have had many cricketers on my show, but there's one person I would say whom I always pleasure to have on my show is you. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart.
No, that's very kind of you, mate. Yeah, no, well, I know you're a very passionate cricket person. You love the game, and as do I. So it's always fun talking cricket with you.
Brilliant. The World Cup has kick-started and we saw what happened. We all know what happened, but how is this format unforgiving?
It just goes to show how close T20 cricket can be, and it just takes a little thing to go your way or not go your way, and it can often be the difference in the game. I think back to England playing against Australia in the last couple of matches, and there was a couple of incidents. England won the second match by just 8 runs, and if you remember, Tim David dropped a catch on the boundary. It went for 6. And then on the other side of the coin, Ben Stokes, amazing dive on the boundary line, flicks it back and saves 4 runs there, or saves 6 runs there. So, there's a turnaround of about 8 runs there, and that was the difference in the game, right there and then. So it's just tiny little margins, little things that go your way or not go your way. And it can be the difference between winning and losing. So it's a little bit scary in that aspect as well, because anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
Okay. I did not introduce maybe Huss in the beginning. Now he's the batting consultant of Team England. So how's the preparation going with this England team with you?
Yeah, I must admit, I felt a little bit awkward initially. He's putting on an England shirt. It's not something an Australian does too often. But I must admit, it's been a wonderful experience so far. They're a fantastic bunch of guys. They're very humble guys, and they just want to improve, and they love playing for England. And it's been a very relaxed atmosphere so far. I'm sure the pressure will go up a notch now that the World Cup's about to start. But so far, it's been a great experience. I've loved it.
I loved the word when you said they're very humble guys. Was it when you played the Ashes with them?
Well, I don't know. The Ashes is a different beast, and the Red Bull team, I don't know, maybe is different to the White Bull team. But certainly this bunch of guys under Joss Buttler are a really good bunch of guys. They respect each other. They respect the game. They respect the opposition. And they're experienced cricketers. They've played a lot of T20 cricket and a fair bit together. So, there's a bit of a quiet confidence around the group.
All right. You mentioned about Joss Buttler. He's just coming into his groove. Did not have a good start against India, but finally you all beat, I would not use finally, but the series against Australia in Australia, you all managed to beat them 2-0. How was that feeling? Does that give confidence to the captain and the team?
Oh, without doubt. Yeah, he's had a fair bit of a break away from the game. He had a calf injury, which he's recovered fully from now. And he looks to be playing beautifully. He's fresh, he's fit, and really excited about leading this England team. It's the message that he's been giving mainly is that, this England team has done some wonderful things over the last few years under Owen Morgan. The team have played great cricket, and he's quite quiet guy, softly spoken, but he's very competitive, and he's a very good thinker about the game.
And the good part, Huss, I'm sure you all must be happy in the England camp that he's come back to form, like which he had lost in between when he was playing against India.
Yeah, he looks to be playing really well. As I said, I think he's just fresh and fit now, and really motivated to do well. So yeah, he's got so much talent and so much skill that it doesn't take him too much to get up to speed. And I thought from basically the first game in Perth against Australia, he looked in great touch. He's just got a good understanding of his own game, and yeah, well, let's hope he can continue this sort of form throughout the whole of the World Cup.
Fantastic. I can't help but asking you about this question. I know it's a little bit of controversy, but you know, what we saw in the women's cricket, England versus India, where there was a Munkard, and then in this series there was an incident about one of the players probably taking my Mitchell Stark probably won the batsman. Now, how is your take about Munkard? Are you as a batsman or as a general, how would you take it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because it is in the rules of the game, I guess. But I'm personally not a fan. To be honest, I think the spirit of the game, it needs to be upheld. Having said that, if there is a batter out there that is taking an unfair advantage and leaving the crease very early to steal a run, then I think a warning first is certainly well within their rights. And then if they continue to do it, then maybe you give the bowler no choice but to follow through. But ideally speaking, you don't want to see that sort of thing. But if everyone just plays the game in the right spirit, it plays it hard but plays it fair, then hopefully you don't have to come up with these sort of things. So yeah, I didn't actually see the one with the Indian bowler, but yeah, you just don't want a game to finish like that. It's a bit sad.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that is why he's called Mr. Cricket. There is a reason for it, and the way he answered it, I loved it. Anyway, I have to now, before I jump to the World Cup matches coming, we want to go back to 2010, that special knock of Mr. Cricket against Pakistan. What did you eat on that day for breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I think it's just one of those days where it doesn't happen very often in your career, but it was just happened to be my day. It was a lucky day. Ajmal is someone that I found I had enormous problems with throughout my career. He got me out so many times, and he was bowling beautifully. But in that last over, we needed a lot of runs, and we just had to go for it, really. I had a little bit of luck on my side because there was a short boundary on the leg side and a really strong wind blowing that way as well. So I had a few things in my favour. And as I said, it was just one of those days where it just came off. So it didn't happen very often, but thankfully on that day it did.
Well, that's being Mr. Modest Huss, who says that the wind was blowing. That's why you could hit sixes. And to a bowler who's one of the most difficult bowlers in the world. And mind you, he walked in when Australia needed a lot of runs with little support from White. And when then White got out, you made that match the impossible. And I had heard one line, Australianism, that for them, nothing is impossible. And that was Mr. Huss doing it that day.
Yeah, well, it was a funny one. We needed so many runs. So and when Cameron White got out, it's almost like you don't give up hope, but you sort of think it's going to be difficult from here. And in a way, that sort of took a bit of pressure off me. You stop thinking about the end result and you just think, well, let's just have a go and see how close we can get. We're probably going to lose the game. And I could feel all the tension and pressure go out of my body, thinking, well, it's probably not going to be our day. And it was a good lesson to learn, because sometimes if you try too hard or you want it so much, you can push their goal away from you. But if you can just relax, take pressure off yourself, don't focus on the end result, then sometimes things can go your way and you can play your best cricket. So it was a good lesson for me to learn.
Just for the record, I want to tell all the viewers who are going to watch this show, this happened in the year 2010 when T20 had not even taken off. The IPL was probably 1 year old or 2 years old, and hitting those amount of runs, 18 runs and 19 runs, was asking for too much, but this great man on my show did it. Anyway, let me come to now the big game. England versus Australia. We did see you all guys beating them, but now the World Cup. Australia will be coming with their full squad. England will be coming with the full squad. How do you see going about it?
It's going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait, really. It's going to be at the MCG. I'm sure it'll be very close to sold out. There'll be 90,000+ people there. Obviously, a lot of Australian fans, but I'm told that there's been quite a lot of English fans that are going to be travelling for this as well. So, the home of cricket in Australia at the MCG, packed house, Australia versus England. It doesn't get too much bigger than that. Maybe an India versus Pakistan game is probably going to rival it. But yeah, England have got a little bit of confidence by playing Australia and winning the last series 2-0. But Australia have a very strong team, and I'm sure they'll build some confidence and build some form up throughout this tournament as it goes on. And they've got some real match winners and some dangerous players. And they're the World Cup holders at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait. And as I said earlier, it's probably going to be that little moment here or a little moment there that could decide the match either way.
Yeah, you rightly said, it's going to be a big game, 90,000 people in Melbourne, the home of cricket in Australia. It can't get bigger than this, and it's in Australia versus England. Now, I'm not going to ask you who's going to win the game and not put you in a spot, but
Well,
I have to ask you.
I don't know who's going to win the game. That's the thing.
Well, that's a fair answer. None of us know who's going to win the game, but we hope it's a cracker of a game. We need to ask you about Liam Livingstone, another bright star. I hope he's getting out and coming back fresh.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's been doing a lot of work, on the physio table, and he's starting to push his sore ankle. So we've got a practice game against Pakistan tomorrow, and he looks to be lining up in that game. So that'll be his first sort of competitive hit out for a while. I'm sure he'll be a little bit rusty because he hasn't played for too long. But like Josh Butler, he'll be fresh, and he'll be very keen to do well. And hopefully he can get some confidence and some time in the middle, and just to get through the game, so he gives some confidence into his ankle as well, that he can keep pushing it for the games coming up. But he's an important player for England. Such a powerful man through the middle order, and also can bowl some handy leg spin too. So yeah, he's a crucial member of the.
How do you see Virat Kohli? He also came fresh after that break. Does that make a difference to a player's form where he was running out of it?
I think it can make a massive difference, particularly for an experienced player like Virat, who he's played so much cricket and he plays at such a high level of intensity. It's difficult to maintain, that mental application for every single game. So I think the break will do him the world of good. I'm actually tipping him as one of the leading run scorers in the competition. I think, he's had a nice break. He's a class player. He'll bat sort of high in the order. And he loves playing in Australian conditions. He likes that extra pace on the ball. And so I think it'll really suit him over here in Australia. And I'm tipping a big tournament for Virat.
Fantastic. Now, I read about your brother writing about all the grounds in Australia. They're almost all big, but the secret is said that you need to run hard in Australia than to go for the big boundaries, like to run like us.
Yeah, it's a good point that Dave makes. The grounds are a bit bigger, and it's not that easy just to stand there and smash balls out of the park. There are big pockets that you can hit the ball into the gaps to, and you do have to run hard because the grounds are quite big. And that could be one of the differences between the teams that can win and maybe not progress as far as they would have liked. So I think that will be something to watch out for, and particularly because the bowlers are so skilled. These days, it's not that easy, as I said, just to stand there and belt the ball out of the park. So you're going to have to use some batsmanship skills to be able to get the ball into the gaps and run hard as well. So yeah, it's a good point.
Fair point. Again, like you mentioned, you need to run hard, hit the gaps, and the boundary ball will come, but you need to make sure that you run hard. Huss, without taking much of your time, your 4 teams for the semifinals. I know it's the beginning of the tournament. We just saw an upset, but we have to ask Mr. Cricket, who else but Mr. Cricket, to pick his 4 players, four teams.
4 teams. Okay, well, this is virtually impossible, but I've got to pick England. I've got to pick England, obviously.
For sure.
That's probably one. I think Australia should be up there as well in the home conditions, the defending champions. I think India will be right up there. As usual, they're always there or thereabouts, and a great team. And then the 4th one is so hard to pick because I think Pakistan, they're such an enigmatic team. So much talent. I think New Zealand, we always underestimate New Zealand. That they are a team that they just always seem to make the semi-final. So I think I'll go New Zealand, to be in that.
Oh, don't spot. Get New Zealand. Whenever New Zealand comes, they knock India out, for God's sake.
Well, they always seem to make it. So, I'll pick New Zealand.
So Huss says it's obviously he wants England, the home team Australia. He says India, and the 4th teams he fills New Zealand. We'll have to wait and see who's going to make it. We've already had an upset on the first day. Huss, it's been pleasure having you as always on our little small show, but the amount of value we've added, this show is going to go on the high. Speaking to you has made my day very, very special.
That's very kind of you, mate. Always nice to catch up, and take care.
And I wish you the very best for this World Cup for your England team and also for Australia. Take care, mate.
Thanks, mate. Great to see you.
Bye-bye.